Hi, I'm Laufey. I'm at Amoeba Records in Hollywood, and this is what's in my bag.
I don't know that much at all. I trip, I fall. Every time I try, it's all too much. That's everything I know about love.
What's the first thing you'd like to talk about today?
Well, Solitude by Billie Holiday.
With gloom everywhere, I sit and I stare. I know that I'll soon go mad.
I love Billie Holiday. I think she's like one of the best singers ever, and it's like she has such a unique voice. You can tell there's like so much emotion in it. So like the story that she tells through her songs is just like really, really potent. And this recording also has Oscar Peterson playing piano in it, and Oscar Peterson's one of my favorite pianists. So yeah, this is just such a good one to like play like on a cozy evening. Yeah, it's been a big inspiration to me. This is kind of funny. It's Shostakovich cello concerto, and I'm a cellist, and this is one of my favorite cello concertos. Shostakovich is a composer, a Russian composer who was composing like during Stalin's reign, and it's really interesting how like the music and the politics come together. But yeah, this is a recording with Rostropovich is the cellist, who's a fantastic cellist, with the New York Philharmonic, which is like one of my favorite orchestras. So a little nerdy classical pick.
Was he using his music to kind of rebel against the regime?
Well, he was like trying to kind of like write around it. Like there were so many rules about like the kind of like music that you had to make. It had to represent like a certain ideal and represent the country. And so there was like a lot of music that you couldn't really write. Yeah, I had to like conform to what the government was okay with. And so he would kind of like write around it. But it's funny, it sounds like quite different. It's definitely like an acquired taste. I didn't start to enjoy it until I started playing it myself and kind of like learned the meaning behind it. But it's very cool. Oh yeah. So little known fact, I'm a huge Swiftie. I know every single one of her songs.
Must have been the way today was a fairy tale.
I think the reason, even though the music I make is quite like jazzy or like sounds a little older, I think one of the reasons I'm like a songwriter and have like just like this obsession with telling stories is because of Taylor Swift. And Fearless is her first album that I really, really fangirled over, and she had me like crying about all these experiences that I'd never experienced, but she just like wrote about it in such a clear way that it just like made you relate, and that's always something that I kind of attempt to do with my own music. And yeah, this is Taylor's version, of course. We listened to Taylor's version in this house, and yeah, I just think she's so cool how she's managed to reinvent herself throughout so many different musical eras and styles, and I just think she's really cool.
Was there a particular track on there that you liked?
Oh, there's so many, but The Way I Loved You is really, really good.
That's the way I loved you.
Untouchable, Today Was a Fairy Tale is also one of my favorites. I don't know, every single one. Let's see. Oh, of course, this is essential. So this is my favorite album ever in the entire world. It's Chet Baker sings It Could Happen to You.
And it happened to me.
First of all, this is like one of my favorite album covers ever, because I don't even know how to explain it. I think it's supposed to be like a moon and they're sitting in it, but yeah, I think Chet Baker is just like one of the best musicians ever, and I love how because he was originally a trumpet player, and then he started singing when he like broke his teeth or something and couldn't play trumpet, and his singing is so like closely related to his playing, like you can really tell that he's a trumpet player, and I kind of like tried to do that as well, like with my singing, because I'm a cello player, so I've been told that I sometimes sing like a cello, so I'm like Chet Baker. But yeah, on my new album, I dedicate a song to, 2 songs actually, to Chet Baker, and one of them is called Just Like Chet, because he has a song called I Fall in Love Too Easily. And so I say, just like Chet, I tend to fall in love too easily. And then I also do a cover of I've Never Been in Love Before, which is one of my favorite songs by him.
I've really never been in love before.
I haven't seen that cover before.
It's so nice. Well, he has 2 Chet Baker Sings albums. The first one is the more popular one, I would say,
Okay.
or the more known one. Also a really, really fantastic one. But I think this one's more special, even. The arrangements are just really, really good, and the songs on this one are my favorite. This is Ella and Louie, their duets album. Ella Fitzgerald was like my first singing inspiration. My father would play a lot of Ella Fitzgerald in the house growing up. He had a big record collection of jazz records. And I kind of, like a lot of pop singers around the time I was growing up, like I loved them, but their voices were a little more like high pitched and I couldn't really relate. But with Ella, I kind of like heard a little bit of myself in her voice because she also had like a little bit of a lower voice and timbre and whatnot. And I also thought she kind of sounded like a cello. Yeah, and the songs that she'd sing were just so romantic and a lot of them had like strings on them. But yeah, I think the 2 of them just have the best dynamic, and he also plays trumpet. I love trumpet. So yeah, this one has Stars Fell on Alabama, which is like one of my favorite songs ever, and I think the imagery is so beautiful, and yeah, I think they're just the perfect duo.
And stars fell on Alabama last night.
And this cover is beautiful. I mean, look at his outfit. That's just what I wear on a day-to-day basis. I'm loafers and socks. I'm literally wearing loafers right now, but not socks. But my style or inspiration, Louis Armstrong. Okay. And then the next one is Bill Evans, live at the Village Vanguard in New York. This was the first album I heard with Bill Evans, and I think I heard it in class, and I just like got so drawn in. It was Alice in Wonderland, and it was recorded, yes, live at the Village Vanguard, and you can literally hear like glasses clinking in the background and like forks and knives like scraping like probably like against the steak or something against plates. And it sounds so like it really just transports you. And so yeah, I just became obsessed with his playing after that, and I've listened to this album multiple times.
How would you describe his playing?
It's very, I love the chords that he uses and the harmonies and like the tensions and stuff. It's very unique to him, and I also think like a lot of his, it seems that he has like a lot of classical inspirations and kind of like blends those worlds together a little bit, which I think is really, really cool. And you can tell in his playing that there's a lot of like musical information kind of like in the background. Yeah, you can always tell if it's Bill playing. And like, I feel like you have to listen to it on vinyl too. Like it really, that's like the only way to do it. So yeah, Billie. And then the last one, Nora Jones.
Come away with me and I'll never stop loving you.
I love Nora Jones. So I played Newport Jazz Festival a month ago, and she was also playing at the festival, and I was really hoping I'd see her, but I didn't. But then I saw her play a couple of days later in New York, and it was like so beautiful. But I think Nora was like the first time I'd kind of seen or experienced like jazz in like a kind of like a pop context, or like a, not pop, but like kind of like brought to like the popular crowd, if that makes sense. So she's always been a big inspiration of mine, and this is kind of like music that reminds me of my childhood. And yeah, I hope to be like Nora Jones someday.
What was it like playing Newport Jazz?
It was amazing. I was like freaking out the whole time. I was like, I can't believe I get to be here. I mean, all these artists, Bill and Ella and Louie and Chet Baker, all played Newport Jazz Festival, and I listened to their recordings from Newport, and so it was just really, really surreal to get to have my name be there among them as well. Just very crazy.
That sounds like an awesome milestone.
It was, I'm still like recovering, but it means a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, your face got all happy when you were talking about it. Thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It was our pleasure.
And just like Chet, I tend to fall in love too easily. Just like Chet, I tend to fall in love.